Now, let's see who the ghost of Elias Kingston really is.
Stuart Weatherby?
Just floating through.
We're only halfway done with our DNA fingerprinting matrix, man, and you solved it already?
How did you know it was him?
We found his financial statements, so we knew he was broke. His only chance was to unearth the legendary Weatherby jewels, which he thought were buried somewhere in the hotel.
He couldn't do that without raising suspicions, so he created the ghost of Elias Kingston to scare away guests and staff, so he could keep searching.
He found one jewel, which only whetted his appetite.
And I would have found the rest of the jewels if it weren't for you meddling kids.
And meddling Scooby-Doo.
Now, let's see who the ghost of Elias Kingston really is.
Maggie Sinclair? We're only halfway done with our DNA fingerprinting matrix, man, and you solved it already?
Why did she do it? Maggie was determined to make the hotel successful and would do anything to get guests to come, like making up the hoax of the missing Weatherby jewels.
Right. When we found the boxes of t-shirts advertising the Kingston Weatherby Hotel as the most haunted hotel in the world, we knew she had to make up another hoax. But, like so many women, it all came down to the shoes.
The elevator shoes made her tall enough to be Elias Kingston, so we knew it had to be her.
I would have made this the most popular hotel in Beverly Hills if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
And meddling Scooby-Doo.
Now, let's see who the ghost of Elias Kingston really is.
Earl the groundskeeper? Oh, man! I can't believe you solved it! I was only halfway through with the DNA fingerprinting matrix.
How did you know it was him? Earl never wanted the mansion to be a hotel, but there wasn't anything he could do about it, except buy it from the hotel company.
The problem was he didn't have any money, at least not until he found the famous Weatherby jewels.
Right. But even with all those jewels, the hotel was still too expensive. So what do you do when you don't have enough money to buy something? You either get more money or...
Like you make whatever you want to buy cheaper?
Right, Shaggy. The longer he scared guests away, the more he brought down the value of the hotel, and pretty soon he'd be able to buy it.
He couldn't wait. We even found signs he had painted saying the hotel was closed.
It would have worked if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
And meddling Scooby-Doo.
Now let's see who the ghost clown really is.
Gerald Jenkins?
Lucky guess.
Luck had nothing to do with it.
We suspected him from the start when he was talking about how the new candies weren't as good as the old ones he made when he owned the company. He put on an outfit of an old Sugarland mascot to secretly fix things up.
Or to ruin Sugarland if he failed. When we found that the cheap ingredients were being replaced with better stuff, Mr. Jenkins was the only person with the motivation. The recipes in his handwriting sealed the case.
You can all stuff yourselves in your artificially flavored treats. See if I care. I could have changed it all if it weren't for these meddling kids.
And that meddling dog.
Now let's see who the ghost clown really is.
Samson S. Sampson? Lucky guess.
Not really. You see, Samson wanted to use the ghost scene investigation program to show how badly workers were being treated here at Sugarland. So he dressed up as the ghost clown and started sabotaging the machinery in order to get our attention.
The worker complaint we found had his fingerprints on it. Obviously, he had planted it for us to find. The videotape he also planted, just in case. But then there was the wig fiber, with the adhesive that would have only worked on someone who was bald. And that's Mr. Sampson.
I can't help it that I'm follically challenged. I would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for those meddling kids.
And that meddling dog.
Now let's see who the ghost clown really is.
Sylvester Sweet Sugar? Lucky guess.
Not this time. We all knew Sylvester Sweet Sugar was not the sweet guy he pretends to be on TV, but we never would have guessed he'd wreck his own machinery.
The only thing he's interested in is money.
So when we discovered that his factory wasn't making enough money for him, we knew he'd have to do something.
We found out that he had already bought a new factory and signed the deed on it, END, for Edgar Norbert Diffendork, his real name. He invented the ghost clown so when he closed down the factory, it wouldn't look like it was for the obvious reason. Greed.
Sugarland, Sugar Sweet. See? It was meant to be mine. I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these meddling kids.
And that meddling dog.
Now let's see who the spooky space kook really is.
Farmer Bert Harrison? Farmer Harrison? You're the one?
Now I'm D1, but not before. Before I was a real loon.
What's he talking about?
Bert Harrison's real name is Joe Loon. A couple years ago, he told everyone he was captured by UFOs and he was laughed out of town. He spent some time in a psychiatric institution and he changed his name to Bert Harrison.
But he was obsessed with proving to everyone that there really were aliens. So he built his own UFOs and became the space kook so everyone would believe.
I believe I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these meddling kids and that dog. Yo!
The spooky space kook is none other than...
Hello, darlings.
Henrietta Bascom? Miss Bascom? It was you? Why did you do it?
The most powerful reason in the world.
Power lunches?
Money.
Henrietta found this whole area is rich in undiscovered oil, so she bought up all the land for cheap. We found a letter from an oil company saying, "To drill, it's all or nothing."
In other words, she had to have all the land or she couldn't get anything. When Farmer Harrison wouldn't sell, she created the space kook to try to chase him away.
That land was mine. I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for these meddling kids. And that darn dog.
The spooky space kook is none other than...
Sheriff Buddy McDowd?
You took an oath to uphold the law. You ought to be ashamed.
He's not worthy to wear a police officer's uniform.
That's for sure. He's a crook and a thief.
Like at least he multitasks.
What did he do?
McDowd's been stealing cars from the police impound lot, driving them here, painting them, and selling them off.
He created the space kook to keep people from getting too close and to give himself a good reason for coming here night after night to supposedly investigate UFOs.
And now I'm ruined as a crook and a cop. If it weren't for you meddling kids and that darn dog.
And now let's see who the ghost of Redbeard really is.
Professor Alicia Wayne? All right, Fred, I give up. Why'd she do it?
She couldn't help herself. We discovered that the synthetic fish food she was developing has a weird reaction when it's overheated.
Breathing the gas creates nightmarish delusions, and when Professor Wayne was exposed to this, it made her think she was the ghost of Redbeard.
I am the ghost of Redbeard, and I would have gotten away with it if it weren't.
Yeah, we know. If not for those meddling kids.
And now let's see who the ghost of Redbeard really is.
Captain Quint? Okay, Fred, you got us. Why on earth would he be stealing his own ships?
Redbeard was only a red herring, Scott. Captain Quint is a smuggler of rare fish. He was stealing them out of Oceanland and then selling them at high sea.
We knew he wasn't just a tour guide when we saw his bank account and how rich he was. When he was loading the boat with rare fish, it was low in the water. And then after he sold the fish, the boat would come back much lighter and higher.
Captain Quint wanted to scare everyone away from noticing things like that, so he invented the ghost of Redbeard. But really, that was nothing but a big fish story.
I ain't got nothing more to say.
Yeah, we know. If not for those meddling kids.
And now let's see who the ghost of Redbeard really is.
C.L. Magnus? Okay, Fred, you got us. Why on earth would he be stealing his own ships?
Mr. Magnus wasn't stealing them, Scott. He was sinking them.
So Mr. Magnus decided to take out large insurance policies on them, disguise himself as the ghost of Redbeard, and sink the ships.
It was a brilliant plan, and I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those...
Yeah, we know. If not for those meddling kids.
So I'm the ghost hunter. Big deal. What law did I break?
Like only the #1 law of reality TV. If you're a phony, be a real phony.
Mr. Middlemost, not only were you greedy for high ratings, but that avalanche you caused could have hurt somebody.
I think we can call the run of the Ghost Hunter canceled.
I would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for you meddling kids and that pesky dog.
Like you're middlemost, but we meddle most.
Sorry if we got in the way. Guess we just wanted to be more like you guys.
You'll need this for starters.
And you'll need these Scooby snacks.
Well, it looks like it's a wrap.
Scooby-Doo!
Old Man Wiggins?
Like you were a disguise in a disguise?
Yes, and I would have gotten away with that if it hadn't been for that meddling dog.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!